There is a match that could decide much of the future of Group K in the 2026 World Cup. Colombia has a chance to all but qualify for the round of 32 if they get another win. Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of the Congo wants to keep surprising the world after stopping one of the tournament favorites. And that's precisely why this Colombia versus DR Congo match could become one of the most interesting matches of the entire match day. So stay until the end, because we're going to tell you where to watch the match from any country in the world. All the schedules for Latin America, Spain, Portugal, and the United States, the confirmed TV channels, Colombia's possible starting 11, and why this match could be much more complicated for Nestor Lorenzo's team than many fans imagine. Because yes, on paper, Colombia is the favorite. But this World Cup has already shown that the favorites also struggle. Colombia comes in with a lot of confidence after defeating Uzbekistan 3-1 in the first match. It was a match in which Colombia was clearly superior for most of the game and left a very good impression. Especially in attack, Luis Diaz once again showed why he is one of the most dangerous wingers in the world. James Rodriguez controlled the pace of the match with his usual quality, and players like John Arias, Daniel Munoz, and Jefferson Lerma put in a very solid performance. Now, a win would leave Colombia with 6 points and very close to securing their qualification before the last match day against Portugal. But be careful, because they will be facing a team that has absolutely surprised everyone. The Democratic Republic of the Congo earned a very valuable draw against Portugal in their debut. Few expected that they could get a point against Cristiano Ronaldo and company. However, the African team defended with great discipline, weathered long stretches of pressure, and took full advantage of the spaces on the counterattack. That style of play is exactly what worries Nestor Lorenzo. The Colombian coach has acknowledged ahead of the match that Congo's greatest threat lies in their quick transitions and the physical strength of their players. That's why he has asked his players for maximum concentration and a cool head throughout the 90 minutes. And here comes another key name, Luis Diaz. The Colombian winger is in great form right now. He was one of the best players in the opener against Uzbekistan and will once again be Colombia's main attacking threat. But we shouldn't lose sight of James Rodriguez either. The Colombian captain could match a historic record for World Cup appearances with the Colombian national team and wants to keep leading this generation toward a great performance in this World Cup. Of course, no one in the Colombian locker room wants to talk about the round of 16 yet. Everyone knows that letting their guard down could be very costly. Because Congo already showed against Portugal that they have what it takes to compete with anyone. And precisely that confidence could turn this match into a real trap for Colombia. So now we know how both teams are coming into this. Now comes one of the questions you've been asking the most in the last few hours. What time does the Colombia versus the Democratic Republic of the Congo match kick off in Spain, Colombia, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Ecuador, Venezuela, the United States, and the rest of Latin America? Because depending on the country you're watching us from, the match time changes completely. Now let's move on to one of the most important parts of this video, because thousands of fans end up arriving late to World Cup matches simply because they get confused by the time changes. And since this match is being played in Mexico, the schedules change a lot depending on the country you're watching from. So let's go over all of them. In Spain, the Colombia versus DR Congo match will start at 4 in the morning. In Portugal, 1 hour earlier at 3 a.m. Now let's travel to South America. In Colombia, the match will start at 9 p.m. In Peru, also at 9 p.m. In Ecuador, at 9 p.m. In Panama, also at 9 p.m. In Venezuela, it will start at 10 p.m. In Bolivia, at 10 p.m. In Chile, at 11 p.m. In Argentina, at midnight. In Uruguay, also at midnight. In Paraguay, also at midnight. In Brazil, in most of the country, the match will also start at midnight. Now let's move on to Central America. In Mexico, the match will start at 8 p.m. In Costa Rica, 8 p.m. In Guatemala, 8 p.m. In Honduras, 8 p.m. In El Salvador, 8 p.m. In Nicaragua, 8 p.m. In the Caribbean, in the Dominican Republic, it will start at 10 p.m. In Puerto Rico, also at 10 p.m. And if you're following us from the United States on the East Coast, cities like Miami or New York will be able to watch the match from 10 p.m. In the Central Zone like Chicago or Dallas, it will start at 9 p.m. In the Mountain Zone at 8 p.m. And on the West Coast, cities like Los Angeles or San Francisco will be able to watch it from 7 p.m. So now you know in Spain it's midnight. Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador, 2100. Mexico and Central America, 2000. Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Brazil, 020. 0000. And now comes the next big question. On which TV channel can you watch the match in each country? Because depending on where you're watching us from, the broadcast changes completely. Now let's go over the official channels where you can follow this amazing match. In Colombia, the match can be watched on Caracol Televisión and Canal RCN, as well as their digital platforms, which are offering extensive coverage of the World Cup. In Spain, the match will be available through DAZN. Meanwhile, some matches are also broadcast free-to-air by RTVE during the tournament. In Mexico, the broadcast will be handled by 2DN and VIX. In the United States, you can watch it in English on Fox Sports and FS1. Meanwhile, in Spanish, it will be available on Telemundo and Peacock. In Argentina, the World Cup can be followed through DS Sports. In Chile, it will be available on Chilevisión and D Sports. In Uruguay, also through D Sports. In Peru, D Sports. In Ecuador, Teleamazonas and D Sports, depending on the match. In Bolivia, the broadcast is available on Retuno, Tigo Sports, and other licensed operators. In Paraguay, through GEN and international operators. In Venezuela, on Televen, Simple TV, and authorized platforms. In Costa Rica, Teletica and Tigo Sports. In Guatemala, Tigo Sports. In El Salvador, TCS and Tigo Sports. In Honduras and Nicaragua, it will depend on the official World Cup operator in each territory. And if you're following us from the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, there will also be coverage through international operators with tournament rights. But wait, because knowing where to watch it is one thing, and knowing how Colombia might line up tonight is something very different. Will Nestor Lorenzo repeat the same starting 11 that beat Uzbekistan? Will there be changes in the attack? Will Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez be starters again? We'll find out in a few minutes.